Constipation might sound harmless, like it's just a little slowness in your system, but that couldn't be further from the truth. It's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Every year, over 63 million people in the US suffer from chronic constipation. And here's a shocking statistic. Research shows it can double your risk of colon cancer, raise your chance of heart problems, and even cut years off your life. One Harvard study found that people with chronic constipation had a 49% higher risk of early death compared to those with normal bowel habits. And yet, 99% of seniors don't realize that some foods they eat daily are quietly causing this problem, while other foods could fix it almost overnight. Constipation isn't just about not going to the bathroom. It's about toxins building up inside you. It's your colon stretching. It's waste sitting for days, fermenting and creating gas, bloating, headaches, skin flare-ups, and brain fog. It's the reason you feel sluggish, no matter how much coffee you drink. The craziest part is that the number one food we reveal later could boost bowel movement frequency by 200%, as proven in clinical studies without laxatives, drugs, or side effects. Think you know what it is? Think again. Most people walk right past them in the store every week. The information in this video is backed by real science from our team at Health Unfiltered. We've spent hours digging through peer-reviewed research, and every single reference is linked in the description below. Before we dive in, comment with your go-to digestion fix. Let's begin with a small, sweet fruit that doubled bathroom visits in just 4 weeks. Number 4 is the kiwi fruit. If you've ever been told to just eat more fiber when you're constipated, you might picture bowls of bran cereal or dry whole wheat toast. But here's a surprising truth. One of the best natural constipation fighters is actually sweet, juicy, and fits right in your hand. This is the humble kiwi fruit, and this isn't just a random health tip. It's backed by solid science. For instance, in New Zealand, researchers conducted a trial with adults who had chronic constipation. Participants who ate 2 kiwis a day for 4 weeks, that's almost double, without a single laxative. Why does this small green fruit work so well? It's a triple threat containing soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and a special enzyme called actinidin. Soluble fiber traps water in the stool, keeping it soft. Insoluble fiber adds bulk, stimulating the gut to keep things moving. Finally, actinidin helps break down proteins, reducing how long food sits in your stomach and small intestines, so waste reaches the colon sooner. Kiwis also have a low glycemic index, making them gentle on blood sugar and easy on the gut. For maximum benefit, eat them with the skin. Yes, the fuzzy skin is edible and triples your fiber intake compared to peeling it. If the texture bothers you, slice the kiwi thin with the skin on and mix it into yogurt or smoothies so you barely notice it. Moderation matters. While kiwis are gentle, eating more than 4 or 5 at once might cause urgency. 2 a day with plenty of water is the sweet spot for most people. This isn't an instant fix, but many people notice easier, more regular bathroom visits within just a few days. Speaking of fruits with unexpected gut superpowers, the next one isn't tropical at all, but it's been quietly proving its constipation-fighting powers for decades. At number 3, we have prunes. If there's one food that's earned its reputation for keeping people regular, it's prunes. And unlike a lot of old wives' remedies, this one is backed by hard science. In fact, researchers have studied prunes so much, they could practically write their own medical textbook. One study published in Alimentary Pharmacology and Therapeutics had constipated adults eat 50 grams of prunes per day, which is about 5 or 6 pieces for 3 weeks. The results showed their weekly bowel movement frequency rose by 2.5 on average. Stool consistency improved significantly, and participants reported less straining. That's a big deal when you consider that chronic constipation affects up to 20% of adults worldwide. So, what's in prunes that makes them such a gut hero? First, they are packed with fiber, about 3 grams per serving, which works in 2 ways. Insoluble fiber bulks up the stool, and soluble fiber traps water to keep it soft. But here's the kicker. Prunes also contain sorbitol, a natural sugar alcohol that draws water into the intestines. Sorbitol acts a bit like a mild osmotic laxative, but without the harsh chemical side effects. On top of that, prunes contain phenolic compounds that may stimulate gut muscle contractions, helping waste move along much more efficiently. The key to getting the benefits without the side effects is all in the preparation and portion size. You can eat prunes as they are, but soaking them in warm water for 10 minutes makes them plumper and easier to chew, and can even enhance the sorbitol's water-drawing effect. Blending them into smoothies is another easy way. Pair them with banana and almond milk for a naturally sweet, fiber-rich breakfast drink. If you're baking, prune puree can replace half the fat in muffins or brownies. Adding moisture and gut-friendly fiber without sacrificing flavor, it's important to start slow if you're not used to them. Jumping straight to a big bowl might give you more than you bargained for. Begin with 2 or 3 prunes per day and increase gradually until you at that 50-gram sweet spot. And remember to drink water. Fiber and sorbitol work best when your body has enough fluid to keep things moving. Next, we'll look at a food that's creamy, versatile, and secretly one of the most powerful allies your gut could ever have. Coming in at number 2 is yogurt with live cultures. When most people think about fixing constipation, they think fiber, not bacteria. But the right kind of bacteria, the friendly kind, can completely change how your gut works. This is where yogurt with live cultures, which are also known as probiotics, comes in. And no, this isn't just marketing hype from dairy companies. Multiple clinical studies have proven that certain probiotic strains can speed up bowel transit time and improve stool consistency in people struggling with constipation. One 2014 trial published in the British Journal of Nutrition gave constipated adults 180 milliliters of probiotic yogurt containing Bifidobacterium lactis daily for 2 weeks. The results were striking. Bowel movement frequency improved by 23%. Stool hardness decreased, and participants reported less bloating and discomfort. Another study in children found similar results in just 3 weeks. The idea is simple. These beneficial bacteria help restore balance to your gut microbiome, which is the community of trillions of microorganisms living in your intestines. When that balance is off, digestion slows down, inflammation can increase, and constipation becomes a frequent visitor. By reintroducing the right microbes, you're essentially giving your gut the tools to do its job better. But here's the catch. Just grabbing any yogurt won't do the trick. You need to look for the phrase live and active cultures on the label. And ideally, it should list specific probiotic strains, like Bifidobacterium lactis or Lactobacillus casei. Sweetened, heavily processed yogurts often have too much added sugar, which can feed the wrong bacteria in your gut and counteract the benefits. Plain unsweetened varieties, whether Greek or regular, are best. As for how to eat it, consistency is key. A single cup a day is enough for most people, but it works best when you make it part of your daily routine. Pair it with fruit like kiwi or berries for an extra fiber boost, or mix in a tablespoon of ground flaxseed for added bulk. If you're lactose intolerant, you can still get the benefits. Look for lactose-free probiotic yogurt or plant-based versions made with almond, soy, or coconut milk, as long as they have live cultures added. Up next, we've reached the #1 best food for preventing constipation, and the science behind it will surprise you even more than its taste. And the #1 best food is chia seeds. If there were a single food that could almost instantly change the way your digestive system works, chia seeds would be it. They may look tiny and unassuming, but when it comes to preventing constipation, they're a nutritional powerhouse. The magic lies in their ability to absorb water up to 12 times their weight, forming a gel-like substance in your gut. This gel softens stool, adds bulk, and makes it much easier for your intestines to push everything along without strain. A study in nutrition research and practice found that people who added just 25 grams of chia seeds per day, which is about 2 tablespoons, had significantly improved stool frequency and consistency after only 2 weeks. The fiber content is off the charts, with 10 grams per 2 tablespoons serving, and about 85% of that being insoluble fiber. That's the type that bulks up stool and stimulates the intestinal walls to contract, moving waste through more efficiently. But it's not just about fiber. Chia seeds are also rich in omega-3 fatty acids and plant-based protein, both of which help reduce inflammation in the gut and keep the digestive system healthy in the long run. The way you prepare them makes all the difference. Eating chia seeds dry isn't just ineffective. It can be uncomfortable, since they need moisture to work their magic. The best way is to soak them in water, milk, or a plant-based alternative for at least 20 to 30 minutes, until they swell and develop that pudding-like texture. Overnight soaking works even better, and you can mix them with yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothies in the morning. If you're new to chia seeds, start with 1 tablespoon a day and gradually increase to 2, giving your digestive system time to adjust. Another tip is to pair them with fruit for a double constipation fighting effect. The natural sugars in fruit can help draw water into the gut, complementing chia's fiber action. And if you're someone who struggles with drinking enough water, be extra mindful. Chia seeds need fluid to do their job properly. Think of them as little sponges that carry hydration directly into your colon. Now that we've covered the best foods for preventing constipation, it's time to flip the script. Because some foods do the exact opposite, slowing digestion and making constipation worse, sometimes dramatically. Number 4 on our list of worst foods is processed cheese. Cheese can be delicious, comforting, and packed with calcium, but certain types, especially heavily processed cheese, can be a silent constipation trigger. For many people, the effect is so gradual they don't even realize it's happening until they uncomfortably backed up. The reason comes down to three main culprits: almost no fiber, high saturated fat, and concentrated casein proteins that can slow intestinal movement. In 2017, researchers from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that diets high in full-fat cheese correlated with slower gut transit times, especially in people who already had low fiber intake. In some participants, the time it took for food to move through the entire digestive tract stretched to more than 72 hours, compared to the typical 36 to 48 hours. The lack of fiber is the biggest issue. Fiber acts like a broom for your intestines, and without it, waste can sit longer in the colon where more water gets absorbed, making stool harder and more difficult to pass. Processed cheese adds another layer of trouble. It often contains extra sodium and emulsifiers, which can pull water from the intestines or alter the gut microbiome in ways that reduce healthy bacteria diversity. A less diverse microbiome means slower digestion and weaker bowel regularity over time. And if you're sensitive to dairy or mildly lactose intolerant, the undigested lactose can ferment in the gut, causing bloating and discomfort without actually stimulating a healthy bowel movement. Now, does this mean you have to give up cheese entirely? Not necessarily, but moderation and pairing matter. If you enjoy cheese, choose naturally aged varieties like cheddar or Parmesan, and eat them in small amounts. Always pair them with high-fiber foods like whole grain crackers, vegetables, or fruit. Avoid eating large amounts of processed cheese slices, spreads, or nacho cheese dips on their own. For people who already struggle with constipation, even 2 or 3 processed cheese servings a day can be enough to tip digestion into slow motion. And remember, your body's reaction to dairy can change over time. What you tolerated in your 20s might feel very different in your 40s or 60s. Up next, we have a common food that many people reach for daily, not realizing it can be quietly working against their gut health. At number 3 is white bread. It's soft, it's fluffy, and it makes the perfect base for a quick sandwich. But white bread is one of the quietest digestion slowers in the modern diet. For people prone to constipation, it can be a daily trap. The problem starts before it ever reaches your kitchen. White bread is made from refined flour, which means the grains, bran, and germ have been stripped away during processing. That's where almost all the fiber lives. Without fiber, the bread delivers carbs and calories, but no bulk to help push waste through your intestines. In a large dietary study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, people who replaced whole grains with refined grains like white bread saw a 30% increase in constipation symptoms over just 3 months. Why? Without fiber acting like a sponge to hold water in the stool, your colon absorbs more moisture than it should, leaving stools dry and compact. That means your digestive muscles have to work harder to move things along, and for many, that translates into days without a comfortable bowel movement. There's another layer to this story. White bread is often made with added sugar and preservatives that can feed less friendly gut bacteria. Over time, this can disrupt your microbiome balance, which scientists now know plays a huge role in regulating bowel regularity. In some cases, the high glycemic load of white bread can also cause rapid blood sugar spikes, followed by sluggish digestion, adding to the problem. If you love bread, you don't have to give it up. But switching to 100% whole grain or whole wheat varieties can make a noticeable difference. These options typically have 3 to 5 grams of fiber per slice, compared to less than 1 gram in white bread. That's the difference between a food that keeps things moving and one that stalls the process. And when you do eat white bread, pairing it with fiber-rich toppings like avocado, vegetables, or leafy greens can help counteract the slowdown. Still, while white bread is a slow gut mover, the next food is even more deceptive. It's often marketed as a healthy, protein-packed staple, but it can hit your digestion like a brake pedal. Coming in at number 2 is red meat. For many people, a juicy steak or burger is the centerpiece of a satisfying meal. But when it comes to constipation, red meat can be one of the biggest dietary roadblocks. The main reason is that it's dense in protein and fat, but completely lacking in dietary fiber. Without fiber to keep things moving, red meat takes longer to digest, and much of it lingers in the stomach and intestines before it's broken down. This extended digestion time means your colon has more opportunity to draw water out of your stool, making it harder and more compact. A study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition tracked bowel habits in adults consuming high amounts of red meat to over 200 grams per day compared to those who ate more plant-based protein. The high meat group had significantly slower intestinal transit times, in some cases exceeding 80 hours from meal to elimination. That's almost double the optimal range. And while fat in moderation can help lubricate digestion, the saturated fats in red meat can slow muscle contractions in the gut, reducing the natural wave-like movements called peristalsis that push food along. There's also the issue of substitution. When a large portion of your plate is taken up by steak, ribs, or burgers, there's less room for high-fiber foods, like vegetables, beans, or whole grains. Over time, this dietary imbalance becomes a perfect recipe for constipation. And if the meat is heavily processed, like sausages, hot dogs, or deli slices, you also add extra sodium, preservatives, and nitrates, which can further disrupt gut health. If you're not ready to give up red meat entirely, portion control and pairing are key. Think of it as a side dish rather than the main event, about the size of a deck of cards per meal. Pair it with generous servings of vegetables, legumes, or salads to bring fiber back into the picture. Leaner cuts like sirloin or tenderloin digest more efficiently than fatty cuts, and slow cooking methods can help break down connective tissue, making it easier on your gut. Still, as heavy as red meat can be, our #1 worst food for constipation has an even bigger impact, because it can dehydrate your system from the inside out, making any constipation problem dramatically worse. And the #1 worst food is fried fast food. If there's one category of food that can bring your digestion to a grinding halt, it's fried fast food. Think crispy fries, fried chicken, onion rings, and anything breaded and dunked in oil until golden. These foods are a triple hit to your gut. They're extremely high in unhealthy fats, often loaded with salt, and contain little to no fiber. That combination doesn't just slow things down, it can dehydrate your digestive system and make stool harder to pass. Here's how it works. High-fat meals take longer to break down in the stomach, delaying the entire digestive process. The guts, muscular contractions, or peristalsis slow down, meaning food moves sluggishly through the intestines. A 2016 study in the World Journal of Gastroenterology found that people who ate high-fat meals had significantly slower gastric emptying times, by as much as 50% compared to those eating low-fat meals. This delay gives the colon more time to absorb water from stool, which is exactly what you don't want if you're trying to stay regular. On top of that, the excessive sodium in fast food, with some meals topping 2,000 milligrams in one sitting, draws water out of your body's tissues and into your bloodstream. This can lead to mild dehydration, even if you don't feel thirsty, and your gut needs water to keep waste soft and moving. Without enough water, constipation becomes much more likely. And let's not forget that these meals rarely come with vegetables, fruits, or whole grains, the very foods that supply the fiber your digestive system depends on. Fried fast food also impacts your gut microbiome. Frequent consumption can increase the proportion of harmful bacteria while reducing beneficial strains, which can disrupt regular bowel patterns over time. And because these foods are so calorie-dense, they often displace healthier fiber-rich meals from your diet entirely. If you do indulge, think of fried fast food as an occasional treat, not a staple. Pair it with a side salad or fruit instead of more fried items. And drink extra water before and after to help offset the dehydrating effects. Baking or air frying at home can also give you that crispy texture with far less fat and sodium. If there's one thing this video should make crystal clear, it's this. Constipation isn't something you just have to live with. It is not a normal part of aging, it's a warning sign your body is waving right in your face. The good news is that you can take control starting today. The foods you choose in the next 24 hours can either get your digestion moving or keep you stuck in the same uncomfortable cycle. You've just seen the 4 best foods proven by science to boost bowel movement frequency, soften stool, and support a healthy gut. You've also seen the 4 worst foods that can slow your gut to a crawl, pull water from your system, and make constipation worse. The next step is yours. Add the good, cut out the bad, and watch your body. Thank you. Don't wait until things get really bad to make a change. Even 1 week of better choices can transform your digestion, energy, and long-term health. Remember, hydration, daily movement, and fiber-rich foods are your gut's best friends. Now, I want to hear from you. Which food on this list surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read them all. If this information helped, please like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe with the notification bell on so you don't miss our next science-backed health guide from Health Unfiltered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.